biology of plants. Today's lesson is Introduction to Plant Biology and Classification. Let's have a quick overview as to what we now. How would you define botany or plant biology? The most easiest or simplest definition would be the study of plants and trees. True, but if we have to be a little more specific, botany can be defined as a scientific study of the origin, internal processes, their economic importance, and the interdependence on other organisms and the physical environment. Let's read through this once more. Botany can be defined as the scientific study of the origin, structure, internal processes, their economic importance, and the interdependence on other organisms and the physical environment. Move to the next subtopic, the need for plants and plant biology. Now, why should we study plants? So this was a question I used to receive often when I was doing my bachelor's and master's in botany. People always asked me, why are you studying this subject? What are you going to do? Are you planning on becoming an herbalist? As annoying as these questions were, it is a known fact that botany as a subject is much underrated. People associate plants as a source of food or medicine, which is not entirely wrong, but the subject plant biology. Now, for a little fun, pause the video and let me know in the comments, why do you think the study of plants is important? Or if you are a bachelor's or master's student in botany, let me know what made you choose this subject. Now, there are several reasons as to why the study of plants is important and why more students must be encouraged to take up this subject. Throughout man's civilization, food has been an integral part. As man understood more about plants as a source of food, he started discovering new tools to help him to grow and harvest crops. These plants have played a pivotal role in humans forming civilizations that help him to feed and nurture the people around him. Plants are the primary food source. Everything that we eat today can be traced back to plants. Even the consumption of meat and other animal products equals indirect consumption of plants. As one would be familiar, in a terrestrial ecosystem, plants form the base of the food chain. So all the energy that we acquire through various food sources are derived from the energy that is being stored and produced by plants. Plants play a very important role in the ecosystem through the process of photosynthesis. In this process, plants trap solar energy and convert them into carbohydrates. And during this process, plants take up carbon dioxide and release oxygen, which is an important molecule for our survival. Also, the removal of carbon dioxide reduces the effect of global warming on our planet. Additionally, plants take part in the nitrogen cycle by hosting nitrifying bacteria in their roots. The economic importance of plants is wide and varied. We use them as sources of food, feed, clothing, shelter, fuel, and as raw materials for various industrial products. The roots of soil act as soil stabilizers by holding the topsoil and preventing soil erosion from happening. Also, when dead plants and plant parts fall onto the soil, they help in improving the fertility of the soil. Traditionally, man has depended on plants as a medicine for various diseases and disorders. Even today in modern medicine, the drugs are designed to mimic the naturally derived drugs from. Let's take an example. Taxol is a drug derived from Taxus brevifolia, which is commonly known as the Pacific yew, and this was used as a cure against cancer. But this tree is one of the slow-growing trees, and the amount of Taxol retrieved wasn't sufficient to cure the increasing number of cancer patients. That is when pharmaceuticals started synthesizing Taxol in laboratories to meet the growing demand. With increasing human population, the biodiversity of the planet is decreasing at a dramatic rate. This loss in biodiversity is really concerning, although most people don't seem to be concerned about it. It is very important to understand that all the organisms on this planet are dependent on each other for survival. The loss of one leads to an imbalance in the ecosystem. So these are just a few reasons as to why the study of plants is important and why there is a need for plant scientists or plant biologists who can help combat problems like food shortage, climate change, and biodiversity loss. With increasing human population and the associated unhealthy lifestyle on the rise, it is no surprise that new diseases and pandemics are becoming a frequent occurrence. The knowledge of what plants could provide us is necessary if we have to make this a better place for future generations. Let's move to the next topic, the different disciplines of botany. There is plant morphology, which is the study of plant structures like leaves, roots, stems, etc. Plant anatomy, which is the microscopic study of the internal structures of plants. Plant cell biology or cytology is the study of the structure, function, and processes that happen within a plant cell. Plant molecular biology is the study of the structure and function of molecular processes. Plant genetics deals with the study of heredity and variation found among plant species. Plant biotechnology involves the use of molecular and genetic techniques to adapt or modify plants for specific purposes. Economic botany deals with the study of the commercial and economic usefulness of agriculturally and industrially relevant plant species. Plant systematics deals with the evolutionary study of plant species, and taxonomy, which is a subdiscipline of systematics, deals with the description of different plant groups. Plant biochemistry involves the study of the chemical processes and also about the chemicals that are being produced in plants. Plant physiology is a specialization which involves the study of physiological processes like photosynthesis and mineral nutrition. Plant pathology is a scientific study of the diseases caused in plants by pathogens and also environmental. Paleobotany is the study of evolution of plants in the geologic past. Plant ecology deals with the study of interrelationships between different plant species and also between plants and the physical environment. There are also other specializations like biology, which is the study of bryophytes, algology, the study of algae, and mycology, the study of fungi. Although algae and fungi belong to different kingdoms, their interrelationships with plants are of a significant nature. There are also applied subjects like agronomy, horticulture, and forestry. Let us now look at the different systems of classification. Before the invention of microscopes and the discovery of microorganisms, life on Earth was divided into two kingdoms. And this classification was proposed by a Swedish botanist, Carl Linnaeus. He classified life into two kingdoms, Plantae and Animalia. Several hundred years later, R. H. Whittaker proposed a five-kingdom classification. The five kingdoms are Monera, Protista, Animalia, Plantae, and Fungi. This system was widely accepted at that time and for several years later. But with more and more molecular and evolutionary information came into light, a new system was proposed by Carl Woese, which is the Six Kingdom classification. According to this system, life was classified into three domains: domain Archaea, domain Bacteria, and domain Eukarya. Domain Archaea consists of one kingdom Archaea, domain Bacteria consists of one kingdom Bacteria, and domain Eukarya consists of four kingdoms: Animalia, Fungi, Plantae, and Protista. Now, the organisms belonging to Archaea and Bacteria are prokaryotic organisms, whereas the organisms belonging to Eukarya are eukaryotic. Now, the question is, what is the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes? A very basic distinction is that prokaryotes lack cellular compartmentalization. Now, what is cellular compartmentalization? If you take a look at the inside of a eukaryotic cell, you will find that there is a well-defined nucleus, which means the genetic material is enclosed within a membrane called the nuclear membrane to form a nucleus. Apart from that, within the cell, there are different cellular organelles, each of which is responsible for performing a different cellular function. Now, this is lacking in prokaryotes. We will continue to explore more about the differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes in later videos, but for now understand that eukaryotes have cellular compartmentalization, whereas prokaryotes lack cellular compartmentalization. Let us now look at the characteristic features of each kingdom, starting with kingdom Archaea. Archaea are a diverse group of prokaryotic unicellular microorganisms often inhabiting extreme environmental conditions. Since these organisms occupy such extreme habitats, which resemble the conditions that might have prevailed on Earth several million years ago, these organisms are also called as primitive or ancient bacteria, although the term archaebacteria is considered to be a misnomer. Archaea are biochemically different from bacteria in that their cell walls do not contain peptidoglycans. This is just one of the differences. You might also find several molecular and evolutionary differences among the two kingdoms. There are three groups of Archaea: methanogens, extreme halophiles, and extreme thermophiles. Let's see more about each group. Methanogens. Methanogens are methane-producing obligate anaerobic microorganisms. Anaerobes are organisms which can grow in the absence of oxygen, and obligate anaerobes are organisms which can only grow in the absence of oxygen. These can be found in the gut of ruminant animals like cows and sewage. Extreme halophiles. Halophilic means salt-loving. These archaea inhabit very salty environments like the Dead Sea or the Great Salt Lake. These organisms carry out a form of photosynthesis using a purple pigment called bacteriorhodopsin. Extreme thermophiles. Thermophilic means heat-loving. These archaea are normally found in places where the temperature is generally above 100 degrees Celsius, and sometimes it might also be combined with a very acidic environment with a pH of 1 or 2. Apart from these three groups, there is a fourth group called the non-extreme archaea, which inhabit normal environmental conditions like soils or ocean surfaces. There is evidence that these archaea play a role in biogeochemical cycles and are a part of the marine food chain. Let's move to the next kingdom, bacteria. Bacteria are the most abundant prokaryotic unicellular microorganisms found in less extreme environments. Being prokaryotes, they lack functional compartmentalization within the cell, and their cell walls are made up of peptidoglycans. And based on the structure of their cell, they are divided into three groups: gram-positive bacteria, gram-negative bacteria, and mycoplasmas which lack cell walls. In bacteria, two modes of nutrition can be observed: autotrophic, where they synthesize their own food. Autotrophic bacteria are of two types: photoautotrophs, where they use light energy, for example cyanobacteria, and chemoautotrophs, where they use chemical energy, for example nitrifying bacteria. The other mode of nutrition is heterotrophic, where they depend on other organisms to obtain their nutrition, for example purple non-sulfur bacteria and most animal and plant pathogens. Let us look at the significance of bacteria. Bacteria play very important roles in the ecosystem and also in our day-to-day lives. They contribute majorly to the carbon balance in terrestrial, freshwater and marine habitats. They do this by being a part of biogeochemical cycles or nutrient cycles in the ecosystem. Certain bacteria form a mutualistic relationship with the roots of leguminous plants, and they help in fixing atmospheric nitrogen. Bacteria also perform the process of decomposition, which results in recycling of nutrients back to the soil. On an industrial note, bacteria play a very important role in the process of fermentation, which is used to produce yogurt and other fermented food products. They're also used in the production of acids, amino acids, and ethanol, and also antibiotics like streptomycin and erythromycin. Bacteria are also the causative organisms of many plant and animal diseases, which have caused and are still causing significant economic losses. So that is it for part 1 of this lesson. We will continue discussing more about the domain eukarya in part 2. I hope you found this video useful and informative. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more videos and feel free to leave your comments. Any feedback is highly appreciated. I will see you all in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.